Alright, welcome back to WMMA Now with your host Chuck Stevenson, coming at you with a special fight review. So we're going to Tokyo, Japan for Deep Jewels number 30. We're going to the Atomweight division, Atomweight Championship. Defending champ Tomo Maesawa coming in 13-11, taking on challenger Hikaru Aono coming in at 6-2. Now this match was doubly important because not only was Tomo Maesawa defending her title, but she had also announced ahead of time that this was going to be her retirement bout. So win or lose, she was planning to retire. So first round honestly completely belonged to the challenger. Aono got a double leg takedown at the 10-second mark and stayed glued to Tomo the entire round, achieving multiple positional advances. Now, Tomo got to her feet several times, but even when she was able to stand up, Aono never let go of her and would take her right back down. I mean, just complete shutout round in favor of the challenger, Hikaru Aono. Second round, Maesawa went to throw a high kick, and Aono ducked under to ankle pick her, getting Tomo down and scrambling to her back. And it looked like the second round was going to be deja vu of the first. However, at 3 minutes and 30-second mark, Tomo swept from half guard to stand back up. Now, Aono took her back down and went for an armbar. Like, almost immediately after taking her down, she was going to try to latch on and roll for an armbar. But Tomo rolled with her to get knee on belly and then dragged, basically, Aono to take her back and hunted for started hunting for a rear naked choke with about a minute left. Now, Aono escaped that, but Tomo threatened an armbar for the final 10 seconds of the round. So, first round easily in favor of the challenger. Second round could have gone either way. So, depending on whether or not you favored the control and the threatening of the finish of Tomo in the latter part of the second round, it was either Aono 2-0 or 1-1 going into the third round. So, third round, Aono attempts a takedown, but Tomo sprawls and stuffs it. But Aono pushed forward with it, and Tomo, did a nice little judo toss on her, but Aono was able to roll with it and stand up and force the clinch. Now, they fought in the clinch for a little bit, but then Aono got a single leg takedown. On the way down, Tomo latched on a guillotine and had it nice and tight on bottom. She rolled over on top, and almost immediately, as soon as Tomo was landed on top, Aono tapped out. So your winner, Tomo Maesawa, via submission due to guillotine choke, 50 seconds of the third round. Man, what a comeback. I mean, Tomo was completely dominated in the first round. It looked like it was going to happen in the second round, but she found an opening and managed to reverse it and take control of the second round. Third round, she took advantage of mistakes by Hikaru Aono and got the submission within the first minute of the final round. Now, Maesawa said afterwards that, during the fight, she basically told herself she knew she had to stay patient and wait for the opening, and she did. Which goes back to something I said in my Deep Jewels 30 preview when I was talking about this fight. You gotta watch out for those savvy veterans, and this is another case of a savvy veteran getting it done, taking advantage of those small mistakes that, younger, less experienced fighters can get away with against other younger, less experienced fighters. But when you step up a level, when you step up to that championship level, you can't afford to make those small mistakes like that, because sometimes one small mistake is all you need. And, when Tomo won, she started crying almost as soon as she won, and then when they wrapped the belt around her, she just started breaking down in tears. You could really tell, just how much, staying the champion, winning her final bout meant to her. Now, they did have a nice retirement ceremony afterwards. They did a they darkened the venue. They did a video of, you know, well-known fighters from the Japanese MMA scene, including a couple Korean fighters like Sahi Ham. Ayaka Hamasaki was in it. Emi Tomomatsu. You know, basically just these well-known fighters from the Japanese women's MMA scene, you know, wishing her well. Then they gave her a bunch of flowers. She gave a little speech. And then they did a final 10 count of the bell for her. So really nice little ceremony. And, you know, JMMA, they do fighter retirements right. And I'm going to talk about that in a separate video that I want to make. But anyway, let's get back to talking about the fight itself. For things to work on. Well, for Tomo Maesawa, she's retired now. You know, she kind of joked that she could be tempted to hold off her retirement if she could get a bout with Reina in Ryzen, but that was mostly like joking. For Hikaru Aono, you know, I was just talking in my video review of Demopoulos versus Godinez about fighters needing to round themselves out. And Aono is another perfect example. She is still a pure wrestler. Now, she has like 2 submission wins out of her 6 victories, but for the most part, she takes her opponents down and basically just advances position, and you know, that's it. She's very much a pure wrestler. She needs to round out her skill set desperately. Submission defense, you know, both of her losses, 2 of her 3 losses, I think now are, excuse me, by submission. Needs to improve her striking, because she just keeps going for the wrestling. And her last loss, she got pounded out because she could not take her opponent down, and her striking wasn't up to snuff. So she needs to improve her striking. Also, you're a wrestler, you should be using a lot of ground and pound. She used very little to none in this fight when she had the position. You gotta help maintain your position and advance your position by utilizing ground and pound to create those openings. Like I said, right now she is just fighting as a pure wrestler. Now for fights to make. Well, the title is now vacant. The Deep Jewels Atomweight title is now vacant. Now, the Deep Jewels and Deep CEO Shigeru Seiki said that he's going to plan a tournament to decide the next champion. Most likely it's going to be like what they did earlier this year with the microweight tournament, which never got finished due to COVID. And it'll be most likely a 4-person tournament. Hopefully they get a nice mix in there. Maybe even put Hikaru Aono back in it. But for now, the title is vacant. Deep Jewels already planning their next event for, I want to say, next month in December. So Deep Jewels 31 will be sometime in December. They might even already have the tournament planned by then. Alright, so those are my thoughts on this fight. Now I do want to say that I am going to miss Tomo Maesawa. I am definitely a fan. I've watched a number of her fights live, and I've watched a bunch of her fights on replays, on video, on YouTube and whatnot. And I'm going to miss her. She is a fun fighter to watch. Like, you know, I call her Tiny Tomo, Tenacious Tomo, and she is a tenacious fighter. And she's one of those fighters that, you know, even though she mostly gives up a size advantage because she's only 4'11", she often finds ways to win. Now, does she have the greatest record at 14-11 going into retirement? No. But that doesn't make her any less entertaining as a fighter? Hell no. She's still a fun fighter to watch. And like I said, I'm going to miss watching her fight. But I don't blame her, and I'm glad that she got to go out on top, even though it probably hurt the division for the champ to retire and leave the title vacant. So, congrats to Tomo Maesawa on keep staying a champ. And, you know, she's the forever champ now. You've probably noticed the thumbnail I'm going to make. It says forever champion because as she retires the champion, she'll always be the champ now. I mean, yes, there will be new champions, but she'll never not be the champ now. So she's the forever champ. So congrats, Tomo, and enjoy retirement. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on the fight in the comments down below. If you haven't seen it yet, Deep Jewels will eventually get it put up onto their YouTube, and I'll come back and link it when they do. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, and while you're at it, go ahead and subscribe to WMMA Now, the most complete women's mixed martial arts dedicated platform on YouTube. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.